All right. Are we there? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I
we're
had a
good.
little trouble there. Wow. Jamie leaves and we have technical difficulties, right?
You'd think things would get better.
You would think, wouldn't you? So we're going to start this show out. Welcome, Marty. How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Oh, it's been a busy day here, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later on this evening when we get to our comedy company of the week. They just threw that one right in my lap. It should make it real easy. So, well, let's get her started like we do each and every show. You want to do the honors and give us the Second Amendment, Marty?
The Second Amendment, a well regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Absolutely, and I know you're just like me. That's probably the most important amendment we have. That's what keeps the tyrants at bay. Otherwise, we'd have been done a long time ago as a country.
Guess who's here?
We got Mr. Wyatt Franzen from the Blind Guy of North Dakota. Thank you again. What a great sponsor. Along with Laurel Auto Repair down there at 309 South Washington. Guys, we can't do it without you as long as we're talking about that. If you look up in the upper corner of our screen, you're going to see a GN701 donation, something new that we were able to figure out finally. So if you want to just scan that with your phone, your QR code, you can make a donation to us and help keep this baby rolling, guys. And we can't do it without the great support of our supporters. So, well, we got chats are rolling. David Fetting, good to see you guys. Glad you're joining us. It's 1760 Sports. Guys, if you don't know who David is, I don't know if you are familiar with him, but he's over there in Mandan, North Dakota. Got just a home-based FFL and does some great work. And that guy is definitely an MV and joins us and has a lot of fun. Lynette, good to see you there. Sean McFarland, good evening. God's blessings. Same to you. And Waylon Turnus. Kevin Gills, all the way from Pennsylvania. I don't know if you've ever seen him on here. Have you, Marty? Mr. Kevin Gill?
Yeah, I have. I love his comments.
Just a few times, right? Brian Warner, glad to have you on. Now, Brian is one of the guys, yeah, he's been helping us out with quite a few things, so we're happy. He's got some good gear of ours, and he's been helping us with some tickets. And Eric Newman of Grizz's Taxidermy. So Grizz is making us a little something. He hasn't told me what yet, but we're going to find out what that's all about. He needed some antlers, so I got those for you, Eric, and I know you got Jamie's. Also, if you guys want to quickly, we got a couple things up already. I'm just going to go through this quick. Like, there's the hats. If you want, you can go ahead and scan that. That's one of the hats. That's the camo and black. Like I said, this is all brand new to us, and we'll be able to do this now from now on. And you can get a hat. It comes into us as soon as you purchase that. We'll get that in the mail to you. And here is the other camel hat we have. By the way, that's Eric Newman right there, Grizz's Taxidermy. He modeled that for us, sent it off to us. So hats are $30, just like everything else. And yeah, works pretty good. Well, Marty, I know that we had a little something else planned for tonight as far as a different kind of show, and I thought it was a great idea. So with that, Marty is filling in for Jamie. Jamie is on vacation, having a good time, I guess. I bet you the Coors Light is flowing. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would say that's like that's about as good a chance as Trump getting elected in 2024.
That's right.
100%.
And speaking of that, I'm going to see the president September 8th in Rapid City. I got my tickets, taking my youngest boy with me, and he's all pumped up. I mean, that kid, he's the one that snuck his Trump hat on during his school pictures. He told the guy, he goes, "Are you sure you can wear that?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, my parents said so." We had no clue till we got the pictures back. So that was great. So we're going to see Mr. President Donald J. Trump, the 45th and the 47th president, right?
There you
Where
go.
are they holding it at?
What's that?
Where are they holding it at?
It's going to be down at the Civic Center in the ice arena. That's it holds about 6,500. I wish they'd have used a bigger venue. They just built that brand new venue, but I guess they call it the Monument now. But it's always going to be the Rushmore Civic Center to me. So you know how that goes. All right. Well, Marty had a great idea here, and I'm going to turn that over to him pretty quick here. We got to talking on the phone, and he brought up the fact that where are all the heroes today? Where are the people to look up to? Our generation had them. Marty had his guys. I had several people, one of them being my grandfather, who was a World War II vet, knew what freedom was about, knew how in danger it was. And he couldn't have pounded that into my head more growing up. Another guy, believe it or not, was my government and history teacher. And that guy, I go to church with him to this day, 90 some years old. He's the guy that inspired me to learn the Constitution, learn what it was about, and how fragile it was and how we could just lose it like that. And I thought, you know what? That's a great idea. Let's have a show about our heroes and who to look up to, because today, really, who do our kids look up to? Well, they look up to what? Google and Microsoft, and that's not a good thing. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Marty, and I got some pictures loaded. So we'll talk a little bit and go back and forth here, and let's see what we do.
Well, I tell you what, that's been on my mind a lot. You know, where are our heroes? You know, and I grew up, you know, with a lot of, all my heroes were either cowboys or hunters. And it always revolved around guns. And the earliest hero that I can remember was actually my grandpa Clarence Beard's hero, and that was Steve Triplett. And when my grandpa's father left the family, he at 13 went to stay with Mr. Triplett. His name was Steve, but everybody called him Mr. Triplett. Now he came up this area driving cattle in the late 1800s, and actually settled down halfway between me and Moffat. Okay. And he took my grandpa in, and he always had a Colt pistol on him with 5 notches, and he never told my grandpa what they were for or who they were, you know, for. But he also loved to ride his horse up on them big buttes to the southeast of me, and he would just stare. And my grandpa always told me he was always checking to see if there was a posse coming from Texas. But you know, that was the guy that took my grandpa in, and my dad named a horse after him, and that was a great one, you know. And you know, the song "My Heroes Have Always Been Cowboys," that's always been one of my favorite songs. And my uncle Leslie Clark, I don't know if you have a picture of him, but
I do. Just give me 1 minute here. I'll pull that up. I might have to pull that chat down. I'm trying to do it all myself tonight. So.
And these heroes that we had, Clay.
There we go. That's the guy, right?
Yeah, that's the guy right there, Leslie Clark. That was my great uncle Leslie Clark. And I actually have his gun here to show everybody tonight. And actually, it was my.
All right, let's see it. There we go. There it is.
32 Winchester, 1894, was my great uncle Bill's Clark's rifle, and then he gave it to my uncle Leslie, and who in turn gave it to me. But you know, the heroes that we, even in the movies or in music, Clay, that I believe that the heroes are missing. And I think the American dream has led to a lot of boring people that don't make good old-fashioned heroes anymore. You know, I mean, I'll be able to tell stories about my grandpa shooting and my great uncle, you know, running 32s through this baby at deer. And actually, my great uncle shot a mountain lion with this gun in the same area where my daughter shot one. Wow. So, you know, that goes back to a lot of this history. But I just feel with the movies people watch now, you know, we had Audie Murphy and John Wayne and you know, and they always had guns in the movies, and always. They shot them like this. They didn't turn them sideways. I really believe that.
Oh, you mean they didn't get out there and go like this? That's accuracy, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I tell you what, you know, and without that, I think there's going to be a lot of kids growing up lost. You know, even grandparents nowadays, everybody's so busy living that American dream and chasing that bigger camper and that newer pickup and that great big boat. And that they lose track of that quality one-on-one time of taking your grandkids out or taking your kids out, if you've got young kids, and making an impression on them. And, you know, have somebody to look up other than what they'll seek. I mean, kids are going to seek heroes. And if you don't push them into an area or a path, they'll find their own. And, you know, today that's not going to be. a good idea.
I think today it's probably even more important than it was when you were growing up or I was growing up. Think about this. We had those people to look up to, probably to guide our moral compass. I know I get a lot of what I believe and the way I was, what I've formed as an ideology from my grandfather. If it wouldn't have been for him, and I love my parents, but my dad always leaned left and was part of the Democrat Party. So that could have been a problem. I wouldn't probably be here today sitting here doing this. But now, I had structure. My parents stayed married. They've been married for over 50 years. Me and my sister both had, when we did good, we got told it. When we did bad, there was a consequence. And today, I think it's more important that there's people like you and me, and we can maybe carry that torch, because there are so many single parent families out there, and especially the boys. They got nobody to look up to. Right now, we've got a couple of my son's friends that come out here, and I know they come here because they love that structure, they love that family unit, and I'm glad to do it. I'm glad to have them here. I taught both of them how to shoot. They ride bikes out here. They help with the ranch. I mean, I can't think of a better way to be raised, but not everybody has that opportunity. And I don't know, I'm guessing you probably feel the same way about that hasn't helped us at all. We got a lot of kids out there on their own. And what do they turn to?
Yeah, exactly, Clay. And, and I give my wife credit. I'll tell you what, the life I've led, a lot of women would have said, yeah, see you later. He'll do it. But yeah, I'm truly blessed. And I think that, I think a lot of people nowadays, when they get into a relationship, they pretend that there's something that they're not, or they stop doing something. They might quit hunting, while they're dating. And then when they actually get married, they start hunting again. Their wife can't believe that they're gone Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
From September to December.
Yeah. Well, I was this way right away. And my first date with my wife was coon hunting. I mean, she knew there were no surprises. And I give some marriage advice to my friends once in a while. They're like, I'm having real trouble with my wife. And I'm like, I suppose you are, because you didn't hunt at all. Or it don't matter what it is, hunting, team roping, whatever the situation it is. When we were in high school together, you were always roping, or you were always hunting or riding, doing all this. And then you just did nothing but, put on this fake facade and then wonder why your marriage is in jeopardy. And I give my wife credit, boy, she's put up with some awful stuff and being gone months at a time with my dogs. But very important is that strong marriage. And I think that's a big thing. I mean, the heroes are the people that stick through marriage thick and thin. That's a hero right there.
Your wife needs a cape.
Wyatt joining us there, guys. He's the blind guy, guys. Make sure you go. I think it's Blind Guy ND, right? I got that right?
Yeah.
BlindGuyND.com. Just check it out.
Supplying the internet tonight. So.
That's okay.
I'm glad Travis is here. My God.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Did you see what he said here?
Yeah.
He said he totally banged you, Marty.
God,
got to have our
that
East
guy.
Coasters. Hey, we got to have our East Coasters, don't we? Or no,
yeah,
he's
there
West
you
Coast,
go.
isn't he? Go the
Yeah,
other
he's
way.
over there, and he's got to move back. I mean, he's just got to.
So Eric's chiming in here, and he said the same thing. He says, "I took Charity, that's his wife, hunting and fishing when they were dating." And now I can't say that me and my wife went dating on a hunting trip. I did take her out a couple times and went hunting with her. She didn't care for it, but she didn't ever try to change me. She knew exactly what she was getting when she married me too. And we celebrated 25 years this year. I can tell you this: what makes it stronger is the fact that we have a strong faith. We truly do, and I think that's a big key to that too. Marriage is hard, but it's a hell of a lot easier when you have a strong moral base and you've got somebody who they let you be you, but yet you still share the things that you have in common. And I think today too many people give up, especially the younger generation, because of what you talked about. And I buy guns. She knows I have guns. She's never tried to stifle that at all, which is good because, I mean, I walked away on a date back in the day when the gal told me she was a PETA gal, and didn't eat meat. And I got up at the restaurant, left her ass sitting there, paid for my meal, and left. So I didn't know. I wasn't really looking for anybody that didn't share the same views I did. Maybe that's why it lasted. I don't know. Oh my goodness! Look who joined us, Mr. Jamie Breck.
Oh boy.
You know, Jamie. You know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to send him an invite to his phone, so then he should be able to click that, and maybe we can pipe him in here. We'll see how that works. So, all right, Marty. So.
Hey.
Who's
Go
your
to
next
that picture of Buddy Stowers. I want to talk about Buddy. He was another one of my heroes.
Okay, let me pull that up here.
Now,
I think I have that labeled correctly.
Now, Buddy Stowers is who got me into hounds. You know, when I was growing up, my dad would let us.
There.
Yeah, there he is, right there. I met Buddy in Oklahoma. When I grew up, my dad would let us have cow dogs, and that was it.
Really?
And I always wanted a hound. And when I went to horseshoeing school down in Ardmore, Oklahoma, I looked up, thank God led me to Buddy Stowers because, you know, 37 years now I've been hunting these hounds, and that was the reason right there. He was a Korean vet. He was Choctaw, half Choctaw Indian from down there in Madill, Oklahoma. And I mean, he took me down a path that 37 years later, I'm still doing. And he taught me so many life lessons. In fact, now his boys were team ropers, and I was down there coon hunting. And he would call my dad, and he would try to trade my dad his two boys that were team ropers for me. He said, "You can have these two team ropers, Dean. That's all they think about. That's all you think about. And I'll take Marty. He thinks about hunting, you know."
No, I understand that. I got to throw this in here. Keith O'Donnell says, he goes, I remember you guys may not have hunting when you dated, but I remember you guys spent a lot of times at the lake. We won't really go into that. But yes, we spent a lot of time at the lake, me and my wife, when we were dating. But we did with everybody, and we did. So I just had to throw that out there because Keith chimed in on that. Oh, we got Jamie chiming in again here. Weak ass internet here at Shirt Lake. He's at Shirt Lake, so I can't join you guys. You know, I don't know. That sounds like an excuse, don't it?
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't it be better to go to No Shirt Lake?
Yeah. Something like that.
No shirt, topless lake, right?
Oh my gosh, I bet that's really is.
Really experience freedom there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
Corey's out golfing. I thought it was too hot to work, Corey. And here you are out golfing. What the heck? Says he's out here golfing. So I don't know. Have you ever golfed, Marty?
No.
No.
I've never, but you know what? I've never watched a football game or a basketball game or what other things, baseball.
Yeah, there's soccer.
But, you know, I don't care if other people do. My brothers,
bowling.
yeah, never either of that. I mean, I think about only hounds, and I shot horses for 25 years. So it was basically horses and coon dogs for me. That's pretty much what I thought about.
Well, and you know what? I know you've been successful at coon hunting. You sent me a few pictures here, and check this out, guys. That was a pretty successful hunt with the hounds, and maybe you want to tell us a little about that. Them look like some big coons.
Yeah, they were some big coons, you know, and, you know, I don't start killing coon. I hunt coon year round, 5-6 nights a week, because I train a lot of dogs. But I don't actually start killing coon until November. That's when they're good and prime, and they're at the biggest that they're going to get. And they're worth, you know, or they were worth more money back then. But,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know what it is about hounds. I like hunting young dogs. And, hey, you know who's getting into coon hunting? Our good friend, Leon Francis.
Leon, it's what you were saying. You know, and you know what? That kind of drops the gauntlet now for me and Jamie, because I haven't been over there to join you yet. And I know you've invited me, but now I have to make it happen. I can't let Leon outdo me. I mean, he's a city boy.
He's got one of my pups now, and Leon's going to be coon hunting over on the east side, you know, and he's excited. He's never been coon hunting before, but he's got one of my pups. Him and his son are going to be coming over hunting with me, and he's in for.
It's no shirt later.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, Jamie just sent Wyatt a picture. It's
Yeah, I'm loading it up. Don't worry, we'll have it up soon here.
Yeah, the matriarch here. I don't know.
Maybe we don't want to see it. I don't know.
Clay, those heroes that we had growing up. What I'm encouraging everybody to be, anybody that's commenting here or anybody that's listening, is be one of those heroes. And another one of my heroes, and I didn't get a picture to you of her, was my great aunt Gladys Clark.
Okay.
She taught me how to can, and she, so even the ladies listening tonight, and thank God, I noticed you have quite a few lady viewers and commenters.
We do.
While there, the stuff that there's, like I said, my aunt Gladys was my hero. We canned almost an entire cow that got hit by a car when we were moving cows. And she taught me so much stuff there. And she was a big gardener. She took care. She was a homesteader. She would drive the wagon when my uncle and her moved cows 35 miles to put the calves in. So, I'm not leaving those women out. You don't all have to be coon hunters or whatever, but, be somebody's hero. And, like I said, a woman was my hero. That was my Aunt Gladys too.
Well, I can tell you, when I look back, I really had you and I talked about that. My grandpa, he was my hero. He was my mentor, but I had several. My grandmother, her and grandpa were out on the ranch to the south of town, Lemon. She is the one, because my dad didn't hunt, guys. If he did, he wasn't a hunter. So when I went out and learned how to hunt, and I kind of did it on my own, a couple people took me. I was always the example. I always told people, listen, I am the example of take a kid hunting. Eric, in fact, Eric's dad, who's listening tonight, Eric, him and his brother Ryan and Dell took me out. And I've been hooked ever since. I mean, that truly is what sparked my interest in hunting and shooting. Well, my grandma, she's the one that I finally hit a bird. I went out grouse hunting. I missed. Boom, I finally hit some. I didn't know what to do with it. No one had ever showed me. My grandma is the one that showed me how to clean grouse and what to do with them and how to cook them. And, we were out there 40 miles south in the middle of nowhere, but that's how they lived. They lived that way. She knew how to can. She knew how to make all these things. Luckily, my mother-in-law does that too. And now Danelle, we had our milk cow and we still do. And when she starts milking again, we didn't know what to do with all this milk. There's tons of cream. Danelle learned how to make mozzarella cheese, and she started to make cottage cheese and make all these things. And now we have all that nice fresh stuff that we don't have to buy from stores, and it's way healthier. And you got to pass some traditions down. And like I said, my grandma, actually, I'd go out to that ranch and spend as much time as I could, probably where I got my love for ranching. And my wife, I couldn't do it without her here, guys. She's my right-hand man. She's running that tractor. She's running that baler with me. Yeah, don't count the women out, guys. They're very, very important. Hey, Marty. Eric Newman asked, do you eat the coons, Marty? He says, I like them fried in butter.
I've eaten a lot of coons. When I used to go to parties, I would cook. We used to have big parties where we would cook raccoons. We'd cook a whole deer down in the river bottoms. And my best story about cooking raccoons is I like to pressure cook them most of the time, and then make it like shredded pork or something like that. It's real good. You don't even know the difference. But I also like, for the effect, roasting a whole coon. And I took my hounds up to my friend's deer camp up north, up by the lakes Kakawea, and I had 2 coon in there, roasted up to perfection. And we just put them in the oven, finished cooking them, and everybody got in from hunting that night, and they were all eating, and they thought it was a goose, and they were tearing into that raccoon like nobody's business. And one of my friend's buddies said, "This is the best goose I've ever eaten." I said, "Have another front leg off that goose." And he looked at me and he checked that out, and here he's like, "Geese don't have front legs." And I said, "Them do."
Then did you have to tell him what it was?
Oh, I told him what it was, and he got real silent, and he said, well, now that's the best coon I've ever eaten. But yeah, I've eaten a lot of them. I mean, I don't eat very many of them anymore because, you know, I have a beef in my freezer every year. So I don't deer hunt either.
Well,
I don't hunt anything other than coon, bear, and mountain lions. So,
and I imagine you're like me. You probably process your own beef. We got everything here. I did take one to a butcher here a couple of years ago just because I didn't have time to do it and I wasn't satisfied. So I will be doing ours again this fall. But another skill that so many people don't have, but I think they found out during China virus it was pretty important to have those skills again. I know that a lot of these butcher shops were just packed. They become a year, 2 years out before they could even get your beef in. I can tell you right now, the fact that I know where my meat comes from that's in that freezer and how it was, you know, prepared and how it was cut up, and that is just, I don't know. I don't think I could live in town. I don't think I could buy from the store anymore. But I was wondering, I'm guessing you do the same, don't you?
no, I'm not set up to butcher a beef. I have a good friend of mine, Travis Schwartz. They started a butcher shop, but I don't have a cooler, and you know,
I don't either. That's why I wait till fall.
Yeah. Well, if I started processing beef at my place, Clay, my neighbors would start getting real nervous.
Well, I always tell my neighbors, you know, things got real serious real fast when I have hogs, because hogs will eat anything.
Yeah.
So you know that things got real bad real fast, or things elevated real fast here. If I have a whole bunch of hogs here, you know what happens. So.
Yeah. Well, I've had hogs at my place. I haven't in the last couple of years just because it hasn't worked out. And I did process all them. Of course, it's a lot easier to process a hog than hang a beef for 30 days.
Yeah. We used to, well, we haven't done it for a couple of years, but we used to at least get together and do probably 3 or 4 pigs in a day. Just because they're just not that tough to do. They're actually really easy. We've even started rendering our own lard. And you know, Trent's always talking about the benefits of lard. Well, that's pretty much what we use for cooking again. And that's kind of unheard of today. Nobody uses lard to cook with.
Well, that's another thing my hero Aunt Gladys taught me is I use some lard, but I use a lot of beef tallow, and I render, you know, gallons and gallons of beef tallow down. And you know, when you have to go back, or you go to somebody's place and they're cooking it in you know, these processed oils and stuff like that, you can tell instantly. And I make a lot of beef tallow.
Yeah, that's
where Trent gets his beef tallow and lard anyway, is from me. You don't.
Oh, he don't do it himself, huh?
Oh, he don't do it himself.
Oh my goodness! Wow, now the secret's out.
Yeah. He's too busy. Kelly, his wife, his God bless her, his wife.
I was gonna say, you want to talk about someone who got blessed in his life, and that was Trent.
Oh, exactly.
He travels all over, and I think she's the one that ramrods that place.
Oh yeah. She's a real good woman.
So Eric's chiming in here. We'll go through a few of these comments here. Hogs clean the meat off, and straight bleach dissolves the bone. No DNA left. So he threw that out there. Jamie's chiming in here. Says, you're really pounding that Alabama moonshine this evening. There ain't that much in there, Jamie. We're good to go.
Well, I still think the scariest noise that I've ever heard, and believe me, being in the woods 5-6 nights a week, I've heard some scary noises. But you know, a good friend of mine up by Minokan, we killed probably 15-20 coon that night at his place, and he raised pigs. And I skinned all them coon right there, and then we threw them into those hogs. And the squealing and the screaming that them buggers made, I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, yeah.
I mean, if they even get a scent of blood, they go nuts.
Yeah, I told Scott, I said, man, aren't you afraid? Because he's the one that told me to throw them in there.
Oh, really?
And I said, well, aren't you afraid, like, if you fall down in there? And he goes, yeah, you don't want to fall down in there.
No, you'd probably be a goner. I didn't know that. You taught Jamie how. He said, Marty got me started on pressure canning world. Loved canned goods. Absolutely. Yeah, and I know some people. I had one guy he kind of texted me here. He says, loves the show, but it's kind of strays from our Second Amendment issues, which is true, but it doesn't. this all ties in. Like you and I talked about that a little bit earlier, how this all ties in because the Second Amendment, of course, defends us. We use our Second Amendment to do some hunting and protect ourselves. And if it gets that bad, we're going to need that Second Amendment to, like you said, protect yourself, hunt, do whatever you need to do. And you're going to have them skills, guys. It's all connected. You're going to have to be able to be self-sufficient if it ever comes to that. And that's how our heroes, like you were talking about, that's how they grew up. I mean, even my grandparents, they grew up that way. I learned a lot of things. We got together at my grandpa's all the time, that's how I learned how to process beef. It was an old schoolhouse. We called it the bunkhouse that my grandpa bought and moved on to the place. That's where he had his butcher shop set up. And as a kid, I was out there right in the middle helping out. And it was almost kind of like a family affair. And everyone come from, well, all the brothers and sisters came too. And we made a weekend of it, and we'd do 3-4 beef down there. I mean, it was just different times, I guess.
Well, yeah, and you know, you've got to use those guns, and all the heroes that I had were strong Second Amendment supporters. And you know, they didn't just talk about it, Clay. They lived that gun life their whole life.
Yes, they did.
They were never without guns, and you know, I don't go anywhere without a gun. I don't even go to the bathroom in my own house without a gun. Not that I'm afraid, but I just make it a point that I have one with me all the time.
I carry one quite often around here. I got to sometimes remember that, especially if I go into town and I haven't taken it off, and you know, you're not technically supposed to go into certain places. And I'm not going to admit whether I have or not, but I kind of sometimes I forget about it. It's a second nature to me. I'm guessing it's kind of the same to you. Even when you guys have seen me up in Bismarck, maybe you don't see it, but trust me, I've got something on my person at all times. That's just the way I've been for many, many, many years.
Yeah. Well, I even carry one in the blind guy's shop. Just, you know, well, actually, two.
It's dangerous place. You don't know what can happen.
Never know what's going to happen, do you?
Yeah.
I love the blind guy's shop, man. I tell you what, there's deer, there's big steer. I wish everybody could see these, but at the end of the show, we're going to have to show some of these big steers. But you know what I love best about my buddy, the blind guy? Not that he's blind or anything like that, but that he can fix my sickle mower.
Got fixed yesterday.
He's my hero.
That's why you're getting all them parts, ain't it, Wyatt?
Yeah.
So Freedom Host USA is joining us tonight, and I gotta give a shout out to them. They're the ones that are helping us with our problem guys that we had with Square.com. So I'm glad to have them listening. Heather, thanks for joining us tonight, and I hope it's working on our new site that we're transferring over. And like I said, we're going to talk about that later during our Comic Company of the Week. But thanks to Freedom Host because they've done a fantastic job getting us transferred over, and we'll be back up and running. And by the way, Heather, if you look, I've learned how to use these QR codes for donations and for our store, so it's already working. So thanks a lot for everything that you've been helping us out with. And she says it's working. So guys, soon we'll be all transferred over, and you'll see a brand new website. Well, with that, we're coming up to the bottom of the hour, a little past. Jamie's got a couple things he wants you to talk about, but we're going to go to our first commercial break and thank our sponsors and pay some bills. So we'll be right back after our first break here.
The 701 is proud to be sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. If you can't stop by, feel free to give them a call at 701-258-6308. Doug and the guys are ardent Second Amendment supporters and will always shoot straight with service and fair pricing. It's been a long winter with lots of snow, ice, and rough roads, so now's the time to get that alignment checked from the curb shots, potholes, and bumpy snow-covered roads. Summer will be here before you know it, so get that rig scheduled for an AC charge. Make sure and tell the guys at Lauer you heard the sponsored Guns in the 701 and thank them for supporting and promoting our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. 701-258-6308. Your North Dakota proud, patriotic auto repair service.
Guns in the 701 is sponsored by the Blind Guy of North Dakota. For all your custom window coverings, you can contact them at 701-222-3932. They're freedom-minded, they're patriotic, and they love the Second Amendment. This husband-wife team was born and raised right here in North Dakota and based out of Bismarck. Again, for your Second Amendment company, for all your custom window coverings, the Blind Guy of North Dakota, 701-222-3932 or visit them on the web at blindguynd.com. All right, we're back, and again, thanks to our sponsors. We can't do that without them. They help keep this show rolling, and it is a pleasure to have them joining us tonight. So, guys, during the break here, I was able to get that picture of Jamie. I don't know if we should show it, but here it is. He says he's shirtless.
His chest looks like my face if I ever shaved.
Sparse and gray? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you can tell he's enjoying himself. Of course, he always does.
Well, wherever Jamie's at, it's a party, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Pretty much. So, all right. So, a couple things here. Jamie wanted you to talk about canning sausage and meats, and a lot of people don't understand that you can can meat. We haven't done it in a long time, but we used to can beef. I tell you what, there's nothing like taking out some beef that's been canned, and it's always so tender, and use it, in stew. You can use it in anything, and it keeps forever. So, you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are intimidated or afraid. Now, I have had 2 bad experiences with pressure cookers, but it was my own fault. And I wasn't even canning stuff. I was cooking meat for my dogs, and I had one of them explode.
Ooh.
It actually didn't explode, but the little pressure relief valve on the top, Clay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, when you get to thinking about other stuff, and I had it full of I don't even remember if I had it full of chicken or something, but I always feed my hounds cooked food. I cook but anyway, when a chicken comes out of that little pressure relief hole and it's all over your kitchen, I mean, I had chicken sickles on the roof of my ceiling. So, but if you're not, I don't want to scare anybody. Pressure cookers are real easy if you watch them and you don't do what I did. And like I said, I wasn't canning, but I have canned beef in my canning room right now that's 18 years old, and I'm still eating it.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you can keep it forever.
Yeah. And as far as sausage, and Jamie had questions about that and stuff like that. And I know his grandma, she was a great old lady. I can remember going up there coon hunting, and yeah, she was a hero. Still chasing cattle around at, I don't know how old she was, but yeah, she was something else. But I can sausage, and there's just so many, and you can find, if you go to a thrift store, they're in everybody's price ranges. You can go buy a brand new $400 pressure canner. Or you can find one at a thrift store rummage sale and just start using it. And let me tell you, you'll be somebody's hero when you cook up some delicious canned beef or sausage, or just the stuff that you can do with them and prepare yourself. Even if it doesn't happen, Clay, like we think it will, that pressure canning is just a skill that is going to be lost if people don't start doing it.
Yep, and I will say there seems to be, ever since 2020, I can tell you around here anyway, it seemed like there was actually a resurrection of it. People were starting to ask questions, learn. They were putting on little clinics, the older ladies, and that's something. They were putting them on and teaching these younger people how to do it. You'd go to the stores, even up in Bismarck, all the canning things are gone. The lids, the jars, all that. And I haven't seen that in years. I mean, we've got a good supply here of those kinds of items, but even them lids, I mean, after use so many times, they wear out, they don't hold their seal. And we had to go find a few new ones, and we couldn't find them. We finally found some online, but I've never had any trouble finding those. But that tells you how many people are actually out there doing this, because they finally figured out that maybe, just maybe, I might have to have food of my own. I ain't gonna be able to run down to the store and get it. And so maybe there was some good things. I guess everything's got a silver lining. Maybe we look at that. People got a little bit more aware of where their food was coming and how to keep it, and to learn those skills. So I don't know. Maybe it'll keep going. I don't know.
Well, I think it will when people figure out that, just take tomatoes, for example. When you make your own pasta sauce, when you make your own salsa, for example, and you don't have all the processing and all the added dyes and preservatives in there, you don't need all that. And
No.
and that flavor comes through on that canning stuff, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Pemmican, yeah, you betcha, Gene. That would be a good one. I would like to try that. And in fact, I put away a gallon of June berries for the sole purpose of trying to make some pemmican.
Okay, so you sparked my interest. I don't know what you're talking about with pemmican.
Well, that's the original food, the food that the Indians made. You know, they took meat. You know, and some people have found the old big mortar and pestles, matals, I think they call them. What the Indians would grind the meat into a paste and then add fat, because the fat's your energy. You know, I mean, we've been led to believe that fat's bad by these doctors.
Yeah.
Yeah, fat's not bad. Processed sugar and processed bleached flour is what's bad.
Yes.
And then you add the berries to it, either choke cherries or June berries, and then dry that. And they would actually, the Indians would actually bury that in parfleche or rawhide bags in various places that they knew they were going to be camping and coming through and find it again. So yeah, I have eaten it. A friend of mine made it one time, and it was really good. You know, it wasn't the jerky that you think, because there's a lot of fat in it for the energy, you know.
Right. Yeah, fat, that's a whole nother story. Modern medicine has led us to believe that, oh, fat's just this horrible thing. It's not. Fat has a lot of nutritional value to it. It's just like whole milk. Oh, you're not supposed to drink whole milk no more. I don't even know I can't understand why people like 2%, honestly.
Yeah, it's what they've done, you know, and people that, you know, go down this cholesterol deal. And, you know, when the high cholesterol scare started is when the low testosterone started hitting America, because your body makes testosterone out of cholesterol. And so that should be an eye opener for everybody. You know, if your doctor are leading you down this road that, you don't need that, and well, then I think America is real low on testosterone.
Well,
or
there's
we
no
would have had a revolution a long time ago.
Yeah, there's no low T in this particular conference tonight. But yeah, you meet them too, and you're right. You see some of these boys, and I look at them and go, God, they're kind of femmy today. What is going on? Well, I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. They're not eating what they need to eat. They're not getting the nutrients they need. It's all, I listened to Rush Limbaugh, I don't know, for a good part of his career. And he always talked about the feminization of America. Well, that wasn't just by habits. He was talking about it all, and we're seeing it. Just look around right now. I mean, I've never seen anything so crazy right now. Hey, Jamie chimes in. He says, I only water canned until Marty talked to me about it and did the pressure canning. Now I even pressure can my homemade chili. So there you go.
Hey, that's not his homemade chili. That's Paula Sue's homemade chili.
Ah.
I'll tell you what. I have Paula Sue's recipe Jamie gave me, and that is the best chili. I think I could take that to Texas and win some chili contest.
You know what I'm hearing? I'm kind of hearing this. You know, we're going to be doing that challenge with Jay Dillon from In the Crosshairs with us and Todd Mitchell from Mitchell in the Morning. And we're going to do a shoot off out at the Rock Range. I'm guessing you've been to the Rock Range out there of Axis, right?
No, I haven't.
Well, we have to get you there. Maybe we need to have chili. Maybe have catfish and chili.
That makes me a combination. You know, how about coon? How about coon and chili?
Coon and chili. Maybe chili made out of coon. What was that, Wyatt?
A canned chili cook-off, maybe?
There we go. There we go.
For the 100th viewing or the 100th episode, canned chili cook-off.
Yeah, tonight we're at number 52. I can't believe we've done that many episodes, and that's just these episodes. I guess you could kind of count what we did on 1270 for a while, but 52 episodes already. I just kind of shocks me, honestly. All right, we got Gene Cox chiming in here. Now they call him the mayor of Mulbridge. So Gene joins us, and he says, not sure the spelling, but Wasna. That must be what they call it. Is that what they call pemmican? Could be.
I don't know.
I never heard about it until tonight.
Learning all.
By midnight,
See,
we'll maybe go make some peppercorn.
Yeah.
this is an educational show, Wyatt. You're learning all kinds of new stuff.
Hey, that's why I'm sitting here.
Yeah, Eric, he chimed in. He says they make salsa, and I can tell you they make really good salsa. Eric and his wife, we get together quite often at each other's places, and so we ran out, and my wife bought some, and oh, that stuff tasted like crap. If you ever bought any, I'm with him. We make salsa too. That bought stuff, it tastes like sugar for one, and it tastes like crap. It ain't even worth buying or eating. Might as well just eat chip without it if you're gonna eat a chip.
Well, I'm going to be actually paying Wyatt to fix my sickle mower in Pemmican.
There you go. Perfect.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Gene says catfish rocks. You make good catfish. You had a little of that when we were doing those deals at Minokan. You brought a little of that and did that. And I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been trapping many catfish because of my pelvis. I broke my pelvis a couple years ago, and in my boat.
Not my cattle.
Yeah. I was working for the neighboring rancher, the blind guy over here, when I broke my pelvis. My
Nice job.
It didn't even buck me off on the what's your brand again? The diamond or the
Well, I got the Arrow Rafter bar.
Arrow Rafter bar. I was cow bossing on the Arrow Rafter bar ranch. They don't have a very good workman's comp program on there.
Not where the dam is it?
I don't know where the accident actually happened.
Oh, I know where it happened.
It was probably on the neighbor's property.
He rode home, so there's no.
Or
Well, I
it
didn't
could've-
take it off.
Well,
maybe it was on the section line, and that's public domain. So maybe
Oh
it's the
my
state of
gosh.
North Dakota's problem.
Hey, I thought we were going to get back to heroes
Well, we kind of strayed off of that, didn't we?
because I
Okay.
got another gun to show.
All right. Well, we better get back on topic. That can happen here,
Yeah, that does happen. That's good though, on this show. That's why people like it.
So
It's not on the straight and narrow.
no, we try to mix it up.
We're-
This is a
we're gonna-
different, guys. It's a different show, but we're holding our viewers, so they must be interested. So that's good to see. I mean, I think it's a great topic, and it does correlate because if we don't have heroes, that means we do not have the young generation that's going to step up to that plate. I can tell you, I'm worried about it. I really am. And if we don't have that, we lose the country, we lose our rights, and we lose our Second Amendment. So it's all intertwined, guys.
Yeah. Well, this here is a Model 1222
Oh yeah, got one of them.
Remington pump. And my hero, my grandpa Clarence Beard, gave me this gun. I shot my first jackrabbit. This was what I hunted jackrabbits with when I was a kid.
Oh
and,
wow.
and he would take me out, and both of my grandpas were my heroes. I mean, they both.
Is this the one? Let's see if I got. Is this the right picture?
That's my grandpa Clarence Beard right there. Yeah.
There you go. I thought that was the one. All right. So
And,
there's Grandpa Clarence right here, guys.
Yep. And I spent a lot of time with my grandpas growing up. They took me when I was a little kid a lot of places. Unfortunately, they both had problems with alcoholism, and then my mom wouldn't let me go with them anymore. So. But I spent a lot of time with my grandpas. I shot my first deer with a 35 Remington of my grandpa's, but the amount of jackrabbits that this little baby has shot, he would take me out, and he had an old panel that we would go hunting in, and he would take me out and he would send me out to a place where he knew there were going to be some jackrabbits, and he would go on the other side, and he would make me walk through all the back in them days, the jackrabbits were out in the Russian olive trees. So my grandpa would make me walk through all the trees, and he got to sit down on the end
And male track rabbits.
and shoot jackrabbits. And he said, you got to shoot them on the run. That way you can learn. He goes, when they get to the end of the trees, they'll stop and I'll shoot them sitting.
Perfect. So here's one here I'm going to put up. This is a picture you sent me. Bob Baker, right? So
Bob Baker.
Tell us a little bit about him. He looks.
Well,
I see he's got his NRA hat on, so that makes
There
him
you
good
go.
right there.
I knew you'd spot that. I'll tell you, Bob passed away about a month ago.
Okay.
And
Nice deer, too.
he was the premier trapper in my area. And I would sit and listen to Bob. Bob was not going to be, the average person probably did not get along with Bob very good, because Bob was one of those kind of guys that was a little bit standoffish until you got to know him. And he taught me so much. He taught me how to skin coyotes. And, he wasn't a coon hunter, but he was he would catch 200-300 coyotes in this area. And since Bob had a stroke, the coyotes are running rampant right now since Bob is gone.
Yeah.
And, one thing he instilled in me, I love to hunt beaver. And the spring, when the creeks and the rivers are flooding, and Bob was a big beaver hunter. He loved, that's my daughters and me there.
I got some more here somewhere.
There's one of me with a bunch of beaver, but yeah, Bob would let out little tidbits of information, and he was one of my great heroes. Yeah, there you go.
Jesus.
There's some big beavers.
That's a nice beaver.
That's a nice. Those are some nice hairy beavers you got there.
Oh my gosh! I knew this. This is like the Jamie. This has become the Jamie Breck show now. But I've been blessed.
You know what I noticed most? They got big tails.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the good thing about when you're hunting beaver. You can let the little ones go. When I trap beaver, if I catch a little one, you catch a beaver in a trap, you got him. But you can be way more selective when you're hunting beaver.
So for the podcast, the people aren't going to be watching this or seeing this. So I got a picture up. Marty's got these huge hairy beavers with big tails, and he's got a spotlight on the top. So I don't know what that says, but hey, looks like a good time.
Oh yeah, it is a good time, and it's perfectly legal in North Dakota.
You mean Game and Fish Mismanagement doesn't come down on you for that?
Yeah. No, it's a lie. You can hunt beaver at night with a 6-foot light.
Good enough.
Yeah, but I mean, I hunt them in daylight too.
So do you trap them, or do you go and actually
I've
shoot
trapped
them?
a lot of beaver, but I like hunting beaver because I can be selective and shoot the big ones.
Good enough. Yeah.
It's like raccoons. If you tree a litter of raccoons in the fall, and there's going to be 5 or 6 raccoons up that tree, and they're going to be scattered here and there. That's a litter. And if you shoot all them coon, they're going to be even in November, they're going to be blue leathered, which that means not prime. And so I'll let those coon go and let them prime up, unless I'm at a feedlot or somebody's losing chickens or something.
Right.
And so I can be selective with my hounds. When I was trapping, I couldn't be selective. I caught, I had to utilize all that stuff. When you get to a tree and your dogs are treed, and you see a coon, usually them old boar coon, a lot of old boar coon will move in pairs. Okay. So you get to the tree and they'll usually be as high up as they can go. A big old boar coon likes to climb high. And there might be 1 or 2. Then that you've got some coon worth shooting right there. But I like hunting. I don't hunt anything else besides coon, like I said, and cats and bear. But when I trapped, I just took whatever. It stepped in the trap, I took it, and I had to use it and sell it.
Well, yeah, I suppose. I mean, when you trap it, you kind of don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So Jamie wants to know what's the heaviest beaver that in that harvest, the one that we just had up there.
Oh gosh.
The one he made it in high school.
I even heard that.
Oh, that's my brother Bill, and he takes after both of my grandpas right now. He's so good drinking beer. But hey, back on subject.
And I think when I get done, I think I'm going to have to hop in the vehicle and come up and join you guys. It looks like fun.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, don't worry, they'll still be here. You can drive all the way from down there. I think the biggest beaver, I don't know, I think the biggest beaver that I've ever got, I think, was 72 pounds.
Wow.
And that was a giant. Actually, my son-in-law shot it. I told him, I'm like, we were coming along there. We come around that bank, and there was it looked like a small bear sitting on the bank there. and he wasn't even getting ready. I think he was afraid for his life, because let me tell you, beaver hunting in the spring out of a boat, Bill will tell you all kinds of stories, but it's a little bit risky. It's risky. But I said, shoot that one. And he got that big bugger. I mean, it's a 3X blanket. I mean, it's a ginormous beaver. I got it. I'm actually going to sew it. It's going to be part of a bedspread I'm sewing together for my son-in-law and daughter.
That'd be awesome.
Got to be half the bedspread.
Yeah. Well, Eric says he's going to mount. If he ever gets a small beaver, he's going to mount. You know, maybe I need to talk to Eric. I bet I'm guessing the invite's still open, but I'd love to come over and beaver hunt with you. And I bet Eric would enjoy it too. You care if I bring Eric with me when we come?
I'm sure the amount of small beaver.
That would be good. Yeah, you guys would have a great time.
Because Eric usually goes. He's part of our Rax Adventure team too, and we usually go to Florida about every third or fourth year, and we're heading down there in this coming year in 2024. But he had the opportunity, and I know he's going to love hunting beaver or anything because we were running them hogs with dogs. I wasn't there that day, and then they jump off and have them dogs, and then jump off on them hogs and stab them, and I missed out on that, so we're doing that this year. I decided to go fishing that day, unfortunately.
We'll take my boat and run up to the bank real quick when there's a big beaver out on the bank, and you can run up and stab him. You don't miss out. I don't want anybody to miss out.
Don't get bit. They got sharp teeth.
Yeah, we could run the Grand. I'd have to check on South Dakota's regulations on hunting out of a boat, but we could come down there.
Hey.
Run the Grand.
If we do it on the res, I know the res I know the res game warden, so we're good.
Oh, there you go.
We'll bring him with.
I love that one. Ain't one thing a monkey hates worse than a live coon dog. I tell you what, that Buddy Stowers, my hero, I was telling you what, he would tell that story. That he loved Jerry Clower. That's who. If Jerry Clower, coon hunting monkey, you need to look that one up. It's unbelievable. It is good.
So basically, Matt Simons joined us. You probably know Matt, but he asked, what would you recommend for a first deer for a 12-year-old boy, Marty or Clay? Last few I've tried are garbage. Well, I guess you're talking about a rifle, right? So what would you recommend for a first deer? I'm guessing rifle. I took my sons out, and they used my 220 Swift, believe it or not. And that had more to do. You talk about heroes. Like I said, my grandpa's one of them. I shot, my grandpa used that gun. He passed it on to me. I shot my very, very first deer with that firearm. That's all we had back then. And then, of course, when my sons got old enough, they shot their first deer, each one of them, with that particular rifle. So now we've got 3 generations that have shot their first deer basically with that gun. And I can tell you right now that I hope they pass that on to their sons. But after that, I got a 243 for them. I thought that was a good middle of the road. They knew how to shoot, and I think they could have handled it right out of the gate. But basically, as that Swift deal, that had more to do with tradition and legacy in our family. But I think a 243 or 6mm is a good choice for that first rifle. Myself, I don't know what's your take.
Yeah, to get the job done.
Yep. Anything, we started hunting and it. With 12 gauges and
I put that comment. Sorry, guys. Jamie says his biggest beaver he ever harvested was about 285.
I think I witnessed that.
Yeah, we're just going to move on, Jamie.
Obviously, Coors Light's kicking in.
And 85 now 90. Runner across, boys. All right. So David asked Marty if someone would want to get into skinning. Well, tell you what, we'll come back to. What do you think on the deal with the rifle? Does that sound? I mean, that's kind of where I was going with it. Was 243 6mm.
Yeah, like I said before, I shot mine with a 35 Remington. It was my grandpa's. And if you can let somebody shoot their first deer with their grandpa's rifle or their great uncle's rifle, or even their father's, do that because that will make a memory.
Big time,
and then find some without bad recoil.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and that's to me, anybody that's learning how to shoot or it's their first time, don't take these people out and give them the biggest damn gun that just so that it basically kicks and hurts them, and you think it's funny. That's the dumbest thing you can do. They'll never shoot again, probably.
Yeah. If you've got an old 30-06 that kicks like a mule and you're afraid of, don't give your kid that gun to shoot his first deer.
Yeah, that's the wrong choice. Absolutely. Yeah. I see some of these videos online. It's kind of going off subject. You see these people, they'll take out their wives or their girlfriends. We were talking about that earlier, and put the biggest damn gun in their hand and then laugh at them when if it's a big handgun, hits them in the face, or they're got a scoped gun and the scope kisses them. Why would you do that? That just actually, it really. What's that? I missed that.
Well, I think a lot of that, Wyatt, is somebody did that to them.
Well, yeah, it's
And
funny,
so
but
then
until you go home later that night.
Then they try to do it to somebody. I don't.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
So let's go then to David's. He says, Marty, if someone would want to get into skinning and tanning, what would be your day one advice?
Well, I skin and put up all my fur. I've skinned everything from mice. One time I skinned and stretched out a mouse fur just to send to our school teacher. I actually had the kids at our little school out here, country school. We had a trapping. They were going to hire a exterminator. And I said, no, we're not going to hire. I was president of the school board at the time. And I said, we're going to have the kids trap the mice. And they actually had a contest.
Awesome.
And I skinned out a mouse, and then I stretched it. I made a little board, stretching board. And I told the teacher that with all the mice, I was going to make her a cap. But, just skinning stuff is great practice.
A mouse cap, that'd be great.
I've got a fur sewing machine. I want to make the best cap I've got in the plan for my grandson is a cap made out of 13 stripers. Yeah. I've got 4 13 stripers that I've got now here this summer. So it's going to take quite a few. But
I was going to say, you're going to need a few of those.
Yeah, we're going to need a few of them. But when I get it done, it's going to be good. But as far as tanning, I've tanned a lot of fur myself with varying success. I mean, if you want to hang it on the wall, it's not bad. But if you want to make anything with it, I use 2 tanneries, Moyles out of Idaho, and I use Tubari out of New Jersey, and they tan all my fur, and it comes back. I mean, it's just the most beautiful. I can't get that result, and it's not that expensive. I mean, it's going up.
Right.
But, so I don't.
Well, there isn't very many tanneries left in the United States, is there?
No, that's another.
They've regulated them out of business.
That's it. There you go. It's like fur. People that complain about trappers and hunters that complain about fur prices, I always tell them, how many fur coats does your wife have? Because if we don't utilize our own resource, why are we relying on Russia and Greece and Korea to use up all our fur when we don't use it? That'd be like a rancher not eating beef. I don't see too many ranchers raising cattle, but it's okay for all these trappers and hunters, fur hunters, to not utilize fur just to sell it for the money. Use it yourself. And sometimes they don't like that, but
I always keep threatening my wife. I'm going to get a big buffalo hide and I want it tanned. And I'm sure you've seen Legends of the Fall. If you haven't, I want one of them robes. Huh? She goes, I don't want you to get one of them because you'll wear it. I said, damn right, I'll wear it.
Yeah, you betcha. I've had a
in
lot
public.
I've had a lot of coats made for my wife and daughters. I've had bedspreads made, and now I bought a fur sewing machine, so I've been making my own stuff. But my wife was apprehensive at first. She goes, where am I going to wear it? And I'm like, everywhere. When you wear it out, I'll buy you, I'll have them made. I would send my fur in, and the company that I would get it tanned at Tubari, and then they would take it actually over to New York. It was just across the river to Furs Unlimited, and sew it together for me. And I've had beaver coats, raccoon, coyote coats made, and I mean, use them. They're nice.
The only drawback to the buffalo, my dad's got one of those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They weigh about 40 pounds for
they're heavy. They're thick and heavy, but I bet they're warm.
If you tip over in the snowbank, you're warm all night.
There you go.
Well, Clay,
find my warm body.
They were meant for wagons, or being in the rail, being in a railroad you know, going someplace where they didn't have heat.
Yep.
You were warm,
Mhm.
you know.
Oh, that's
So
why
when
our
your dad has to sleep out in the garage in the pickup, he's going to be
well,
warm.
that's where the rope's at. He uses it a lot.
maybe I don't want one. I'll be sleeping outside more. I don't know, but
She knows
so let's
By the
get a
way,
few of these.
Richard's one of my heroes too. He's an old cowboy, and you know, a lot of my heroes, they're not the best role models, but they are my heroes.
No, they're a good role model in their own way. I mean, we've all got our own sins and demons, I guess
Well,
you could say.
you know,
I'm not perfect. I know that.
Yeah, my dad and Richard were old rodeo cowboys, and back then it was a different times. And another good hero of mine was Richard Bame, and those guys were hard drinkers and hard fighters, and rode bucking horses, and they did all kinds of stuff. You know, nowadays you see kids riding down the ditch on a broke horse with a helmet on. And I'm
yeah.
like, you know, and then the mom and dad, or let's say the dad's not wearing a helmet. I'm like, well, you're the livelihood of the family, and you're not wearing a helmet, but you make your kid. You know, and I understand safety, but I'm not going to wear my seatbelt either. I'll pay.
Me neither. I'm going to be once again, with the stroke of a pen on August 1st, I will be a lawbreaker in North Dakota. Well, let's get to a few of these comments quick, then we'll go to a break and we'll come back and continue this, because I think, well, like I said, we're not losing people, so stay with us, guys. Eric Newman, he says he's up for stabbing a beaver. There we go. So we're going to make that happen. We're going to do that. I don't know, not in this 100-degree heat, though. Corey Merriman said that when that river was high a couple of years ago, some of the guys were floating it. See, the Grand River runs all the way up past into Corey's land, right through the middle of their land. So he kind of knows when that comes right out of Shade Hill Reservoir. Oh, got the wrong one. Here we go. We got Luke. Am I going to pronounce this right? Zalkowski, I hope. When you think that you're savvy about firearms, hunting, and outdoors, and then you meet Marty. I take it you know him, Marty?
I don't, but I'd like to know him. I mean, he's got a walrus there. Maybe he's from Alaska.
Yeah.
We could take my little 14-foot long-tail motor up to Alaska and shoot a walrus.
That'd be awesome.
Before you go.
What was that?
I said I'll have to do a tune-up on it before he goes.
No, yeah, my boat runs good. Believe me, when it's flooding, like who was on Corey said when that river's flooding, these creeks and rivers, that's when I go out and shoot beaver.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You want something that's going to start, because you know, there's a lot of guys that drowned in beaver hunting, but you know, if there's not that element of death and dying in it, it's really not that much fun anymore.
There's no damn fun, is it?
Right out.
I want to thank Luke. Luke, thanks for listening. I think that's the first time I've seen you on here, so welcome to the show. Corey's got on here. He goes, right there at his place. Yep, and it does. The Grand River runs right through there. In fact, he's got a little camp spot back there.
Hey, that sounds like a good place where we could go chase some raccoons and go camping and have some good time.
We could. I mean, my cabin ain't too far away. We've got a cabin down there on Shade Hills. You know what? You maybe need to get your South Dakota credentials, because it's in South Dakota, but we could go have some fun, Marty.
Oh,
there's coons all over down there. Why come? We'll make a party of it. I'm sure Corey, are you up for it? I'm sure you are.
Hey, I'm sure Jamie and my brother Bill will be up for it. They haven't gone coon hunting with me in like 20 years. It could be like a 20-year reunion.
There you go.
No. Last time I went, we rode mules.
Oh, yeah, well, now that you mentioned mules, so we're going to get off of the comments quick. I do believe Marty sent me a picture. Right here. Is that you is that a mule?
Looks that's my mule Vern.
Mule Vern.
Yeah, I named him after one of my other heroes, Vern Hertz. He was my neighbor. Yeah. And Vern had the bad habit of bucking. He never bucked me out. He was just ornery. You know, and so Vern come over, my neighbor Vern come over. And I said, yeah, I got this new mule. You know, I was breaking him at that time, and boy, he would buck. He'd run away with it, just scary little bugger. And he goes, oh, you named him after me? And he goes, pretty nice mule. And I said, no, he's an ornery son of a bitch, just like you. And you know, Vern is my hero. He's still alive, Vietnam vet. And you talk about a gun enthusiast. I mean, Oh my gosh, he taught me so
Shooting
much.
range in his basement.
Yeah, shooting range.
Oh, awesome.
Who doesn't have one of those?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, culvert through the wall though.
That's been I keep talking. I'm going to do that. Now I have to because someone
Nah,
else
he's
already
got
did
one.
it.
We had one. Well, it's in that house over there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, we used to shoot in our basement all the time. My dad was a big reloader, and he would
Yeah, but you
fight.
went through the floor the wrong
Well,
direction.
that was Bill. That was Bill. My dad would
Oh, that was-
fire form. Yeah, my dad would fire form brass in the basement, and we were making 17 rem back in the day out of 223 Lake City match brass. And so we would have to take them down in stages and then fire form them into 17 Remington because 17 Remington cases were hard to get. And we would shoot 100 rounds in the basement of our house into a big log. My dad had a giant log down there, and our house was like a haze of gun smoke.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've shot in the basement range. Man, Dad Sporting Goods has one over there. We've been down in Brandon's range, and yeah, I mean it's doable, guys. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah. We didn't have the fans or the.
You didn't have the circulation in there, little lead poisoning.
Yeah.
So David Fetting, he chimed in here. He says he set a lot of kids up and their wives with 6.5 Creedmoors, 243 like recoil, but power of a 308. Yeah, and I've heard that too. And yeah, that's definitely an option is the 6.5. Guys, basically all you can do is I'm going to give you a little advice. When you take your kids out, don't try to give them a monster. Let them shoot it a little bit. Best thing you do is see if you can borrow one. I'm sure that Matt knows if you need some. I've got a lot of guns, Matt. I'll get you the calibers if you want to try something different. Then go buy one. It's kind of like going to tell people on a handgun. If you never shot any handguns, go to somewhere like the Personal Defense Center there in Bismarck. Rent your gun and try several out. See which one works best for you because it's a very personal thing. It's what it does to you, how it fits you, how you shoot it, and how you can handle it. And if you're not comfortable with that gun, you'll never shoot it. So buy one you're comfortable with. That's my best advice.
Yeah. And the other thing I would recommend for that first time deer hunter, take them kids out and let them shoot
Absolutely.
something else.
Yep.
Let them shoot. Of course, we don't have a lot of jackrabbits. I grew up in a time it was great. There was jackrabbits everywhere. Then I would take that 22 and I would walk for miles and miles and shoot jackrabbits all day long. Now we don't have those, but gophers, prairie dogs, something like that, cottontails. And I think the one thing that deer stands, everybody is a stand hunter now, because my dad would take a tire and put a target in it. We'd roll it down the hill, and my brothers and I would shoot at that tire rolling down the hill. And because when we were deer hunting, we were hunting down in the river bottoms and the willows, and well, even up on the prairie, we were busting brush. And as kids, we were busting brush for everybody else. They got to sit at the end, and my brother and I, Bill, we had to go wander through the hills and chase them to them. But I think that running shots are I hate to say it, but I think they're a dying art. Nobody practices them anymore. Everybody is more concerned about distance and dialing in and all that, or sliding their door open. Not that I disagree with that, but there's a certain aspect of hunting that's going to be lost.
Well, I can tell you this:
running shots.
If you hunt coyotes, and I like to hunt coyotes, I don't do near as much as I should, but you get honed in on your running shot skills. You just do. Yeah, the suppressors have made it easier, but you're still going to be taking those follow-up shots. And them coyotes run, guys. They've been taught to hate people. They're very, that's just the nature of a coyote. They're skittish anyways around humans. And so you want to go hone your skills on running shots, prairie dogs and coyotes, guys. That'll help you out a lot.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things too that you can practice at. But I think getting that kid out there,
trigger time,
shooting critters,
yep,
is real important.
It is shooting actual real targets like that, real life. I mean, you can go shoot steel and paper all day. If you've never actually shot what you're intending to hunt, you're going to find that's a whole different experience generally.
You got to learn life and death.
You got to learn the life and death. Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. That's absolutely. Well, let's see. We'll catch up a little bit here. Gene says that skinning rodents takes me back to mammalogy days, preserving scientific specimens. See, Gene's he's a meat inspector. I don't know if you knew that. He goes around and inspects the butcher shops around here, and I'm always love it when he comes to Lemon. Sometimes I stop in there and he's there, so catch up.
Do you know, I used to shoe horses for Ray Earhart. He was a meat inspector up here in Mandan.
Okay.
Just wondered if Gene knew him. He was
probably
a good
does.
guy.
I know Jamie had one here, but I can't find that now. But he was talking about his first beaver hunt with you. So I was kind of looking for it here. Oh, there it is. Not beaver, coons. My first coon hunting expedition with Marty was probably my last.
I did it twice.
My dad always told people that, you know, my dad it was nothing but horses and roping and shooting for my dad. And so, well, my dad took me deer hunting my first year when I was 14. He wasn't he hunted deer when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was on my own. But yeah, he said he could tell people's intelligence level. If they went once, you know, they could have just fallen for it. If they went twice, yeah, they were, you know, borderline stupid. And 3 times they were complete idiots.
I went twice.
Yeah,
His
there you
brother
go.
Bill riding 2 up on a mule.
Yeah, they were.
Well, the third time you're probably a Democrat voter.
Brokeback Mountain riding double on that mule.
I am proud to say, hey, I've never seen that movie, and I'm proud to say that.
I was in back.
Yeah.
Oh no, he was the back guy. Ugh.
I've never seen the movie either, but I make fun of it all the time.
Oh, absolutely. I know what it was about. That's all. Marty said, or Keith says Marty should be on the show Mountain Men. Marty's probably never seen Mountain Men.
I'm over at my neighbor, the blind guy's place, because I haven't had a TV in 25 years. So,
hey, Eric don't have a TV either. Eric Newman, the guy there, he don't have a television either. You know, we got one, but we dropped our Dish Network and just stream the things we want to watch. So we don't watch near as much of it, and that's a good thing. We actually go out and do things now.
I take that back. When my cousins from Montana were back, they looked it up at my mom's house in the Mountain Man show, if it's the one I'm thinking of. And there was a hound guy on there. Mm-hmm. And I knew right away he was hollering. This old guy had a beard, and he was a hound guy in Montana. And he was hollering for his dogs, and he kept going, Brandy, Brandy, Brandy. And when they showed the picture of Brandy, she had a tracking collar on her. Yeah. And I was like, well, I told my cousins, I said, this is fake. I said, that guy has a tracking collar and he's pretending he lost his dog. And right then I knew that, you know, there was another guy on there. I can't remember. There was like 2 of the guys that I watched there that were pretty good, but there were a couple of them that were, I could just tell they were.
Yeah, that kind of shorter, older guy, he did a lot of trapping. And he had a guy, I didn't really watch it a lot, but I watched it a little bit. I didn't like the guy you're talking about. I saw that episode. I thought the same thing. I was like, yeah, just typical television. And but yeah, that other guy, I really liked him, and he was in Montana. They made him actually, his kids made him come back and live with him, you know, live with them that one winter in Florida. And he was miserable because I think he had a heart attack or something. I'd have been miserable too. And he's now I'm getting back. And like I said, I haven't watched it in years now. But
well, he should have went out and gator hunted or something.
Yeah, and maybe he did. I don't know.
Yeah, that guy, that old guy with the beard, he actually was from where my cousins are up there. He was in the Yak up by Libby, Montana. They knew him, and you know, but TV takes advantage of so much stuff. I mean, I wish it would have never been invented.
Well, do you remember when we had the Friends of NRA television show? When I was still working at NRA, we did an episode in South Dakota, and I mean, the things they did. It's like, really, you know, the host couldn't hit the blind. He couldn't hit the broadside of a lot of things. We went to a class 3 shoot that I got arranged for him. We're shooting sticks of dynamite out there. Well, you know who actually shot the dynamite? I was on the rifle. He was using the Mondoose, not hitting a damn thing. So they put me on a rifle off to the side. I was shooting the freaking dynamite. And then when they edited it all together, it looked like he's hitting all this dynamite. So yeah, TV pisses me off that way. That's why I don't watch much on the Outdoor Channel anymore. By the way, Gene says he didn't know your guy. He only stayed in South Dakota. So Gene didn't know him.
Jamie said, my dad, his famous, he said the best deer sausage that he ever had was pure pork.
Dean?
Yeah.
Oh. Is that his dad or is that Uncle Dean?
That's my dad, yeah.
Oh, that's your dad. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got an Uncle Dean too.
Oh, yeah. We actually had Dean on when we were doing that show on 1270 on Memorial Day. He was a veteran, came in. That was a great show because he really, had a great interview talking about Vietnam and veterans and what we were doing. So we should have him on the show. That'd be kind of fun. I bet he knows a little bit about what they used for firearms over there too. Keith says the old guy was Tom. That's right. Tom was the name.
Yeah.
Gene says TV survival shows. What do the camera crews eat while filming survival shows? Good question. Good question.
Oh yeah.
They probably go to town and take it easy, kind of like that other moron.
To show you, Clay. I mean, you got to get your small town heroes and that type of people, and them are the you can still find them people if you go out and look for them.
Yeah, they're out there.
Or you know what? Even and I always tell Trent, I said you need to be one of those kind of heroes. Get back to the old stuff and be somebody's hero, and that's
hero,
the most important.
Be, like you said, be somebody's hero, whether it be your kid, your grandkid, brother, sister, whatever it is. You don't have to be somebody who runs out and into the burning building saving someone. It can be somebody that teaches you life skills that you take with you your entire life. Mine, like I said, was my grandfather. That man taught me everything I think I know about just about anything. And really, my father-in-law, after I got married, he probably taught me the rest. And I think every day I'm doing something on this place. There ain't a time that one of those memories don't come back because you're working on, like when we was building our deck. All the things I learned there, I learned from my grandpa. It's hard. And I was using some of his tools. That's the cool thing. I still got all his tools. And it just kind of resonates. It really, boom, it's right there. And I don't think you get that anymore. You just don't see it anymore.
No. I can tell you one story about my grandpa, and he had this big stump. Now, he didn't shoot it full of holes in his basement, but he gave me a paint can of nails when I was at his place, and he said, pound those nails into that stump. And so I started, and I was a little kid, and I started pounding those nails in there. And then when I got to horseshoeing school, and now if anybody's seen what a horse nail looks like, it's small, it's got a small head, and it's sharp on one end.
Very sharp.
My instructor said, how did you learn how to nail like that? And I'm like, my grandpa.
Yep.
Gave me and
said, go do it.
Pull them out. He'd have me pull them out, and we'd nail them back in. I mean, a paint can full of nails. But, and I'll never forget that. And just like you'll never forget about your grandpa, don't be the grandpa or great uncle. And you don't, if you don't have any grandkids or whatever, you've got nieces and nephews. Don't be the one that they forget. Be the one that they remember. And absolutely. And that's easy to do.
I got a nephew. He actually, luckily, he don't live too far from us anymore. And, there was issues at his home. We'll just say that. And he spent a lot of time out here with us and with his grandma, with Grandma D. And to this day, he comes out, he's doing great. He just got a new job. He's really turned out to be an outstanding young man. And I like to think that hopefully that had a lot to do with, our influence on him, because he could have went a different direction. He sure could have. And he didn't. He chose to be a good person. He's got a great girlfriend. They're talking about getting married. I mean, it's to see him do that. And now he just got his first AR-15. I'm pretty sure that had a little something to do with me because he likes to shoot. So he's going to come out and I'm going to show him how to use that. And that's all it takes, guys. That's all it takes. Oh, got a little background noise there today.
That's them too.
All right.
The blind lady and my brother.
The boss.
All right. Well, Jamie says he's good show. He says, I'm heading back out to enjoy some 80+ degree Shirt Lake glass water on the pontoon. Have fun, Jamie.
No Shirt Lake.
No Shirt Lake. That's right. No
What it
shirt,
is.
no shirt
Remember
lake.
that. He's got it wrong again.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're coming up on the half-hour break. Let's take one quick commercial here. We're going to go over a couple little things, and then we're probably going to call the show. So you good with that? I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Is it midnight?
not yet. Not yet.
I'm just going to be here till it's time to go coon hunting anyway. So I mean, if you have a captive audience, I hope maybe this is streaming into a prison somewhere.
Well, let's see. I can tell you, it's 15 on YouTube and 3 on Facebook, so it could be. I don't know. All right, let's take a commercial break here, and then we'll come back and wrap her up.
The 701 is proud to be sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. If you can't stop by, feel free to give them a call at 701-258-6308. Doug and the guys are ardent Second Amendment supporters and will always shoot straight with service and fair pricing. It's been a long winter with lots of snow, ice, and rough roads, so now's the time to get that alignment checked from the curb shots, potholes, and bumpy snow-covered roads. Summer will be here before you know it, so get that rig scheduled for an AC charge. Make sure and tell the guys at Lowry you heard the sponsored Guns in the 701 and thank them for supporting and promoting our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota, 701-258-6308. Your North Dakota proud, patriotic auto repair service.
And we're back. All right. Hey, thanks again to Doug and the guys down there at Lauer Auto Repair. They do fantastic work, and I know he's had several people stopping in. So if you need any auto repair work done and you happen to be in Bismarck, give them a call, 701-258-6308, 309 South Washington Street, and he'll get you fixed. I know Leon had to stop in there and sure saved his bacon really and got him back to Fargo. So Lauer Auto Repair. Yeah, that's so. I'm going to quick go over the poll before we get too far where we're going to be done here. What's wrong? And I hit the wrong button. See? Anyway, did I not have my poll on here? Here it is. So we did our poll last week, and of course we'll have a new one up starting on Thursday probably or Friday. And what we asked is what do you do most? What is your favorite type of hunting? Came in big game with 56 votes, 44%. That was our top leader, guys, which I thought it might go a different way, but I guess people do probably hunt more deer. Second place came in 23%, and that was varmints, 28 votes. Predator came in at 22% with 27 votes, and winged came in at 11% with 15 votes. So I don't know if everybody voted on that, but where do you fall on that list, guys? Winged? Marty's probably got to be.
I just hunt with my. If I can't chase it with my dogs, I don't hunt it, except for beaver.
There you go. Except for beaver. So, and speaking, okay, I got to show this picture before we run out of time.
That's the mammal beaver.
I love this picture, guys. Let's listen on the podcast. It's worth at least coming in here. And if you don't want to watch the whole show, go do it like an hour 30 and 51 seconds.
Just that's not photoshopped either.
That's not photoshopped, guys. This is Marty with a mountain lion right above his head. I'm guessing the dog's treated. Why don't you give us the background on that? Because that's a pretty cool picture.
Well, the background on that is that's the first year I took my son-in-law mountain lion hunting. And he said, and he coon hunted with me a lot, but he said, well, now do these mountain lions, do they ever try to get you, when you're after them or this or that?
Rawr, come on down.
I said, we're not going to have any problems. I said, I've been chased around by bobcats way more than mountain lions. I said, in fact, I will have one when we get one treed. So he was looking at me like, oh, okay. So when we got that first lion treed, I either had to high five it or I was a damn liar, And so I will, I'll send you the picture of me actually high fiving that lion. I just put my hand up and so anyway, then I took that selfie with that lion, but
I seen that. It's awesome.
Yeah. And I started cat hunting down in Nevada, oh gosh, I don't know, 25 years ago on the Wine Cup Ranch. And I stayed right out there on the Wine Cup, right in their bunkhouse. I'd bring my either horses or mules down there and I'd hunt for 2 or 3 weeks, sometimes longer. And you know, unfortunately, that ranch has been sold a few times. It's cut up into pieces and this and that. So
that's sad.
I still go to Nevada, but that's the story on that selfie anyway.
Well, no, I like I said, go check it out, guys, if you're listening, because that is pretty cool. That lion ain't too far away from you either. How far up was he?
Well, I was right up there beside him. I mean, I when I say that a bobcat's actually bit me more time, I've been in caves with mountain lions, you know, 2 feet away from them, and they don't even want to look at you. Now, a bobcat, they'll be looking at the dogs back and forth, and then all of a sudden they'll just prick their ears up and stare at you, and they come running towards you. But a mountain lion, I mean, sure, knock on wood, one might kill me this winter, but not likely.
I've never got to go and trap them like that or run them with hounds. The first season they had in Rapid City, and we only had 3 days to hunt, but we took horses down there in South Dakota in the Black Hills. They had that first season, and we were literally a day behind we knew there was a lion in there. Couldn't get him to come in. We tried to call. We tried, never done it before. I found a bighorn sheep in there that lion had destroyed. And like I said, we had 3 days to hunt. That really isn't enough. You'll love this. On the way home, because back then you had to report it. You bought your tag, and then they only took so many, but you had to report in. We were listening to the radio, 810 out of Sturgis, and sure as hell, where we were hunting, which was in that big bowl where they used to do all them experiments, that was someone killed a lion there later that day, and we had just been in there that morning. So it was, I guess, neat to know that we were on the right track, because I'd never done it before, but I'd love to get behind some hounds. I think that'd be a blast. Yeah.
Well, we'll go. And the thing about it is them lions have such a big territory. I mean, the furthest.
Huge.
Yeah. I followed a lion and treated, and we were 12 miles, and that was in Montana. We were 12 miles from where we turned loose that morning. And we'd cut that track on several roads, and then it went into a big area of timber, and then went 12 miles.
Wow. Yeah, they huge areas.
Yeah. And I've had to stay overnight out there on the track, and I had a buddy with me one time, and I said, well, we're either going to stay overnight or we'll walk back to the pickup. We were hunting on foot then. We'll walk back to the pickup, and then the next day we'll have to walk back in here and start this track again. We might not catch it, but I know I can catch that cat in the morning if we stay here. And he said, I would rather die than stay here.
He didn't want no part of that.
Yeah. So anyway, it's an adventure. I mean, in the hound aspect, as hunting them without hounds like you were doing, that's an extra type of hunt.
It was, and I knew a lot of people down there, and they're the ones that kind of put us on that lead to go in there, and that's why we went in there. And they were right. There was definitely a cat in that area, but he wasn't. Who knows where he was those 3 days? He could have been 20 miles away.
Yeah.
And it was a great big male, and I was like, damn it, anyway. But like I said, 3 days, that's hit or miss, and there was no snow. I know that one of our great volunteers that was down in Custer did banquets for us. He's pretty good at taking cats, but he lives down there. He always waits for that first snow. Then he goes and finds them, and he says, that makes it a hell of a lot easier. So.
Well, the last cat, now I haven't been since I broke my pelvis, but the last cat I was catching down there in Nevada was an old female. And we would run her every day, and she would get away in the rocks and the cliffs on us. And we ran her so many times that my son-in-law and his friends that were down there, they basically said, if you keep after, and I wanted to catch her, my dogs would get her bait up, and then she'd jump from rock to rock and get away, and I'd have to go, and then we'd run out of daylight, go back, and then we wouldn't cut her track for a day, and then we'd cut her, and we run her every other day for 4 days. Oh. And they said, if you're going to run that cat tomorrow, we're going home. And we were on the GPS that cat had run those dogs through them hills, and they finally caught it that night and were treed. And they were 18 miles on the GPS.
Wow.
They'd went 18 miles. Yeah. So
back and forth and around, and yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I told my friend, I said, I'm going to shoot this cat tonight. Normally I wouldn't have shot a female. I said, but I'm going to shoot her and I'm going to send her in and get her hide tanned and dyed pink. And then have the Pink Panther. Yeah.
Love it.
And you know what? She got away.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That my dogs had her treed and I couldn't get to her. And my GPS went out. We went back to town and charged up the GPS and went back out there. And by the time I got out there the next morning, we were so far in that my dogs were so sore-footed. When she came down the tree, she walked away, and my dogs couldn't walk, and I had to load up and go home. Yeah,
well, they did their job.
Disappointed in me.
I bet they were like, "Hey, what's going on here? Come on." So, well, I'll tell you what, we're running up there about 20 to 8 right now. So, anything you want to? We're gonna go on to one last segment here. But anything you want to say before we do that?
Well, I just encourage everybody to be that hero for some kid, and if it doesn't have to be yours, it just be that hero. Seek that kid out that needs the guidance, and if it happens to be yours, so be it. If it's your grandson, whatever. But we're lacking the heroes that we once had in this great country. The United States of America, and we need them back because that's what's going to save the country. It's not a bunch of politicking. It's being there for the kids that are coming up.
Absolutely. It comes from us, guys. I mean, yeah, we can have elections and elect the people we think, but it don't matter. It's us. It's you. It's me. It's us that's going to make it happen again and bring it back or lose it. So, yeah, you're right. Amen. Well, thanks, Marty. Sure appreciate it. So you're going to stick around, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have got to do the Commie Company of the Week just because of what has happened to our platform. So we're going to go right into the Commie Company of the Week here. We are going to skip the happy ending. Jamie's gone anyway. We had one, but because of time, we're going to skip that. But I am going to do the Commie Company of the Week.
Picture of me.
So I did the long one because these guys have earned it. So we've been using a platform to host with our Guns in the 701 to host our website for going on since last September. So almost a year, guys. Had no problems. We've been trying to get the store up and running. And I was really hoping that this week, tonight, we were going to be able to launch our online store. People have been asking about it. And guess what? We basically got nixed by Square. So Square.com, if you haven't heard of it, they are going to be my Commie Company of the Week. I can't stand them. I got some Lenin there and some Stalin. And yeah, we got them, Karl Marx. They're all right there because that's how these guys
beautiful
operate. So if anyone wants that, I'll send it to you. But
that's
anyway.
shirt.
Oh, what happened here? And I got an email. I'm going to put it up here, but I can tell you it's hard to read. So, I can put it up here. But here's what this email says. Dear Clayton, we recently reviewed your account and have unfortunately found activity that violates our terms of service, including but not limited to the following: Section 3, general terms, Section 3, payment terms. So I went into our deal and checked out the terms, and I didn't think we'd done anything wrong. And the only thing I could find in there, and all the crap that they got on there, it's almost as bad as community standards, that fascist book. But they're the sale of firearms. We do not allow the processing or the advertising of sale. We don't sell firearms. We had our caps on here, like this. We had our shirts on there. We had all the things that that everybody's been buying. And as near as we can tell, what happened is it probably came up on the sales side of this thing in one of their stupid algorithms, the word gun or the word guns. And of course, these companies don't care. They're woke liberal pieces of crap, and they just decide they're going to axe you. So they go on here and they go, "We are sorry to inform you that due to this activity, your account will be deactivated in 30 days. We will no longer be able to accept payments related to your business, and we are giving you advance notice of this deactivation of your account to allow you time to transition. Really? Well, we're going to transition, all right, from these commie bastards. So they go into this whole thing about I'll still have access to the site, that they're sorry for the inconvenience. I did finally go on there, and I found someone to actually notify and send an email to. I sent the email, same old BS. They were going to review it. I've heard nothing. So in the meantime, I started looking for another host because that's what's going to happen. And I don't want to do business. Neither does Jamie. We don't want to do business with commie companies like that, woke companies. We like doing business with guys like Wyatt, the blind guy, and Axe down there at Lauer Auto Repair, David over there at 1760 Sports. We do not want to do business with these people. And that's how I found Freedom Host. If you saw, they were on tonight. And that gal has been just fantastic getting us going. We found another payment processor, Stripe. So if you've been watching, and I know that a lot of people have been on tonight, this little icon over here, that's one of the deals we were able to create with Stripe. And it was very simple. It's allowing us to already take orders and payments. We just weren't ready for it because we got to transfer the entire site over to our new host. But that's my commie company of the week, and I'm proud to say that we're going to now be doing business with a brand new host, and that's Freedom Host USA. So if you want their information, I can get it to you. I would highly recommend it. They have been fantastic. I mean, above and beyond helping us out with this, and especially with our design. I'm really looking forward to doing a lot of business with these guys and making it happen. But as far as square.com goes, they can kiss my butt. I'm sure Jamie feels the same way. And I can't wait till we get everything up and running on the new hosting platform so that I can just tell them to cram it. We're not going to do any business with them anymore. What's that?
As Freedom is still watching too.
Yep, I see that. We appreciate you. Yep, still here. So that's the commie company of the week. We kind of got an abbreviated show. I don't know, we went a little bit long, but that's okay. What we were talking about, Marty, I thought that was important. So if you have anything else, you kind of said your piece.
I'm gonna save that for when we're down there on the Grand River. Maybe if we got that internet connection, we could do a live coon hunt.
Oh, that'd be a lot of fun. We tried to go live when we did the prairie dog shoot when I went over there to film with Axe and with Jamie. By the way, I do have that video, guys, but there wasn't a lot that we could video, so it's going to be a very abbreviated video, but it is pretty much done. But yeah, we tried to go live, and it just takes a lot of power to go live like that. So yeah, technology is great when it's working, right? Oh, Jamie sent us a new picture here, guys. Quickly.
Oh, shit.
This one said they're catching fish. Got a little hammerhead. So there you go.
What is a hammerhead?
Oh, a little northern.
Oh, a northern. That's what
He said hammer handle. That's a northern.
Hammer.
I know what a hammer handle is. I don't know what a hammerhead is.
Oh, okay. We know them as hammerheads here. I guess we're crazy way down.
I know what a bullhead is.
Bullhead, yeah.
Hey, take a kid bullhead fishing. That's all we could go fishing, and they're delicious.
If you go, you can go up to Hettinger, North Dakota. They're Mirror Lake. You're going to catch them. It's actually a great one to go and take kids. They don't care what they catch when they're little.
Yeah.
They'll catch a ton of them. Have a lot of fun.
Take me. I don't care what I catch.
And they're delicious.
They are good.
That's an underutilized fish. That's all we had was bullheads on the 2 fishing trips a year that our dad would take us on.
Wait, I do have one story about Wyatt. I took him ice fishing one time, and I caught a walleye after about 5 hours. And Wyatt reeled it up, and I'm like, boy, that's a nice one. And Wyatt goes, yeah, what is it? He not know what a walleye was.
Oh, hey, thanks, Natural One. Natural One chimed in here and said, Scott turned me on to you guys. Great show. Great to have you as a listener, and appreciate you listening. Yeah, it's always great to see new guys coming on here. And let's see. Corey Merriman, Flat Creek. Yeah, Flat Creek's full of them, too. Hammer handle. Eric's correcting me. Hammer handle. So I got it wrong. I will admit I was wrong. How about that? All right, guys. Well, I want to thank everyone. We're coming up here. We're an hour and 46, so we're getting longer, it seems, all the time. But we appreciate everybody hanging in there. Again, if you want to donate to the show and help us along with our sponsors, just go ahead and scan that QR code. I think you guys tried it and it went right there, didn't it? Boom, you can
Yes.
see it. So go ahead and scan
Yep.
that. I'm going to put up a couple other ones for you guys to check out. That's just, we've got other things, but this is going to be a start. This is our camo hat, black mesh cap. I'll give you guys a little bit of chance here. Scan that code. They're $30. That includes everything. And that's one of the new ones. We do have another color that has the brown patch on it. And that brown patch should look similar to this. And we can put that one on you. We've got that as well. And then we've got the one here that Eric is modeling for us. I don't have his other picture, but that is our brown duck. And that comes with the silver and black patch as well. And then the camo outside. Same thing, $30. We've got some other styles, but we got to get the store built, guys. I was able to get these done before the show. So scan those codes. And if nothing else, you can go to www.gunsina701.com right now. It's still up and running. And check out everything there. And we'll get you, like I said, when we transition over to the other hosting platform, we're going to be ready to rock and roll. So you'll be able to get everything you need. Again, we are live on Friday, KFYR Mitchell in the morning. We have a great show there. We're on for about 20 minutes. And Todd, I think this week we're gonna revisit Eric Church. It's kind of disappointing at the state fair so many were there, but we're going to talk about that and the Jason Aldean thing and tie that together. A couple other subjects we're going to have on there. Tune in and find out. 5:50 a.m. radio, 7:40 Mountain, 8:40 Central. And then again, in the crosshairs with JD and Clay, KFYR Plus. Guys, that's the streaming service from KFYR. In the crosshairs, that comes on at 11:30 Mountain at 12:30 Central. And, of course, every single Wednesday night, you can find us right here, 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain, 7 o'clock Central. With that, you got anything else you want to add before we sign off for the night, guys?
Well, when we do meet up to go coon hunting, I've been saving my Bigfoot stories for a special occasion when you're with and you and Jamie. And I'm going to tell you guys, now I've never actually sighted Bigfoot, but I've had some extremely spooky stories happen to me while coon hunting. That could be nothing other, and you're down in Bigfoot country. I mean, down there by Little Eagle, down towards Umore, there was a lot of Bigfoot sightings, and I got 2 strange occurrences that happened to me.
Okay, now I got to ask, if you have a shot, do you?
Would I? Oh, yeah. I mean, that's it.
Netting.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's
Save the Bigfoot.
But the big question, that's not the question, Clay.
Yes.
Will it do any good? Will it be effective? Is that really a live ammo? I don't know. I think who knows what it could be. It could be something that we can't shoot. But I know 2 times the only way I could explain what happened to me was a Bigfoot type creature that my dogs and mule were petrified of. Not just me, but my mules and dogs knew something bad was there.
Well, I know you did a couple lives.
No, my wife wasn't out there.
Nice. There you go. You got it right here, guys. We're going to have Bigfoot stories right here. We're first. Guns in the 701, first on the scene, right?
Yeah, well, I'm not kidding. I believe you.
No, I'm looking forward to it. So, all right, guys. Well, again, thanks everybody for supporting the show. I want to thank our sponsors again for supporting this and what we do. We try to spread freedom, protect the Second Amendment during the legislative session. We try to keep you up to date. I want to thank Laura Auto Repair, 309 Washington Street, and the Blind Guy, North Dakota, blindguynd.com. Guys, check them out. They are patriots. They believe in what we believe, and that's who we want to do business with. So until next week, tune in on Friday morning, 7:40 Mountain, 8:40 Central for the next episode on KFYR with Todd Mitchell in the morning. Other than that, guys, have a great weekend. And as we always say right here every single time, keep your powder dry. Thanks, Marty. Thanks, Wyatt. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yep. Thanks for doing what